Hi, welcome to today's video. My name is Paul. So this week doing some watercolor landscape painting. It's going to be a very loose, somewhat abstract landscape using a limited palette, so just a few colors. Pretty standard for me. I don't like to use lots of colors, keeping all of these things as simple as possible. It just limits the choices that you have, and it helps to speed up the process of painting. And when you speed up the process of painting, it helps to create a looser painting style. Once you slow down, you start to focus in on little details and things and start getting a bit fussy with the painting, and that sort of kills the whole spontaneity and the looseness, in my opinion. Of course, as usual in art, different people, different opinions, different ideas, which I know can be very frustrating if you're trying to get started, if you're trying to learn how to paint with watercolor or whatever medium it is. You watch 5 different videos and you get 5 different opinions about what you should be doing. I think probably the best thing to do if you're getting started is just to paint as much as you can. I know it doesn't sound very sophisticated advice, but I think that's basically what it comes down to. In this video, I'm going to give a few quotes from artists and talk about them. So on that topic of practicing, there's a quote by Michelangelo, I guess one quite famous artist, and he said, "If people only knew how hard I work to gain my mastery, it wouldn't seem so wonderful at all." And I think this is a useful quote, and it's a useful idea to think about when you're getting started, or even if you're sort of intermediate level. It's easy to look at other people's art and think, wow, that's amazing. And then you look at your own and think, wow, that's not amazing. It's worth remembering, social media and YouTube and things are wonderful in some ways, but they do have the potential danger. We are exposed to so many images and so much art from other people that there is always this danger of comparison. But of course, that other person may have been doing art for 30 years or 40 years. You don't know. And whether you feel like you're making progress or not, if you practice enough, you will make progress. You will slowly get towards where you want to be. Another example, another quote, this time by a guy called Vincent van Gogh. Again, quite famous artist, I guess. He says, "Slowly I'm learning to observe and measure. I don't stand quite so helpless before nature any longer." So in other words, this is a quote from one of the many, many letters that he sent to his brother Theo. And he's basically saying, I guess, he's slightly more confident now in his ability to paint, say, a landscape. So I think the general message is, be careful with comparing. It's great to look at other people's art, to appreciate it, to learn from it. But once you start comparing your level and their level, you've got to remember you might have been doing it for 3 weeks and they might have been doing it for 20 years. So that's worth remembering. The Michelangelo thing, you got to practice. It's going to take time. I don't care what all these YouTubers who claim to have, quick and easy fixes for this or that. It's not. It's going to take a long time and a lot of practice to learn to make art to a level that you want to make it, to. One other thing I would say, and this is another quote. This one is by the artist Kandinsky. Often associated with modern art. His idea was that there is no must in art. Art is free. So that's one other thing I would say is If you want to go down the sort of modernist route of making art, there are no rules. There are choices, there are ideas and different philosophies of art, but there are no rules. You decide what you want to do. You decide what you want to paint, how you want to paint it, where and when you want to paint it. You have that freedom. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise. This is a scan of the final painting. Very simple. Not one of my best, but I had fun making it. I'm glad I have the opportunity to make it. It was very loose, very simple, just a few colors. And yeah, just keep practicing. And don't worry about what somebody else might think about your art, especially if it's not even a real person. Some people get this idea into their head and they have an imaginary art critic in their head who's saying, well, this isn't good enough, or that's not good enough. I say, just paint what you want to paint, have fun doing it, and just keep practicing. It's baby steps. Every day, every time you practice, you're making a little bit more progress. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching and listening. Hopefully see you again in next week's video.